ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरून् दीनतारिणम् परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। Bhagavad Gita as it is. So it starts with setting the scene, then dedication, preface, introduction, then the chapter 1. So we are supposed to do the chapter 1, but without these covering these four, if we directly start chapter 1, many doubts will come which we have to again go back and uh, study all these. So we'll go one by one. First is the setting the scene. Let's see Prabhupada how he sets the scene for Bhagavad Gita. So Prabhupada is writing, although widely published and read by itself, Bhagavad Gita originally appears as an episode in the Mahabharata, the epic Sanskrit history of the ancient world. The Mahabharata tells of events leading up to the present age of Kali. It was at the beginning of this Kali age, some 50 centuries ago, that Lord Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to his friend and devotee Arjuna. So, what is Prabhupada saying? That Bhagavad Gita is read by itself as a separate book. It is very popular, it is widely published. Originally, it appears as part of Mahabharata. So I was showing that, um, yeah. So Mahabharat is a book and it is a epic. It is not just a book. It is an epic having 18 parvas. So Adi Parva, Sabha Parva, Vana Parva, Udyoga Parva, Bhishma Parva, Drona Parva, Karna Parva, Shalya Parva, Sauptika Parva, Shanti Parva, Anushasana Parva, Ashwamedhika Parva, आश्रमवासिक पर्व मौशल पर्व महाप्रस्थानिक पर्व स्वर्गोरोहण स्वर्गरोहण पर्व. So there are 16 parvas. This whole epic is divided into, and out of that, fifth parva. See, this fifth parva is called Bhishma Parva. So as part of Bhishma Parva, the it is discussed about the great battle, the Kurukshetra battle. And in that battle, one topic comes, that is Krishna speaking to Arjuna. Then it is called the Bhagavad Gita because Krishna is the Supreme Lord Bhagavan and he is singing, he is speaking. Basically, that is called Gita because it is like a song in spiritual world, and uh, whenever devotees speak, it is not just like how we speak. When we speak, it is, if it is anger, it comes out as a very, we can't even understand what someone is speaking. Or if it is someone is in not so very good mood, it will come out as something which is unpleasant to hear. But when in spiritual world and when this Krishna himself speaks, it is all like a song. It is very pleasing to hear, and it is by particular chanda. It is spoken in a poetic manner. It is, if it is spoken, everything is very neatly arranged and in a particular tune. That's why Bhagavad Gita. It is a song of the God, they say. So that is part of Bhishma Parva of Mahabharata. Okay, that I wanted to say. And what else Prabhupada is telling? Prabhupada is telling it is an epic Sanskrit history. It is not an, people say, mythology. No, it is a history. Mythology means it is some imaginary stories, some fantasy and some story imagination. But history is not that. History means it has happened. It has happened, and it happened some 50 centuries ago. Prabhupada is saying that is 5,000 years ago. So 5,000 years ago this happened, and this is towards the end of Dwapar Yuga and starting of Kali Yuga. And towards the starting of Kali Yuga, this Bhagavad Gita was spoken, and so it has got a lot of relevance for the Kali Yuga people. It has happened in the ancient world. It is history. It is not some story of someone who is imagining and writing some story book. No. So now, their discourse, one of the greatest philosophical and religious dialogues known to man, took place just before the onset of war. A great fratricidal conflict. See this word, fratricidal conflict means it is happening between members of one family only. That is called as fratricidal conflict. Hmm? These are all members of one family, and it is a big war. So it is a battle, and it is conflict between hundred sons of Dhritarashtra, and on the opposing side, their cousins, the Pandavas, or sons of Pandu. Okay. Now this family we are going to read who are these family members, how these family members belong to each other, like what is the relation between each of them. All that we are going to read in next two paragraphs. Who will read?
I will read, Mataji.
Please.
Dhritarashtra and Pandu were brothers born in the Kuru dynasty, descending from King Bharata, a former ruler of earth from whom the name Mahabharata derives. Because Dhritarashtra, the elder brother, was born blind, the throne that other side would have been his was passed down to the younger brother Pandu. When Pandu dies at an early age, his five children, Yudhishthira, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, and Sahadeva, came under the care of Dhritarashtra, who is effect became for the time being the king. Thus, the sons of Dhritarashtra and those of Pandavas grew up in the same royal household. Both were trained in the military arts by the expert Drona and concealed by the revered grandfather of the clan Bhishma.
So it is
At the
this.
son of
Sorry, Mataji. This is counseled by by
council.
Bhishma, and this is sons of Dhritarashtra and Pandu. It's not Pandavas. The sons of Dhritarashtra and Pandu. Yeah. Now continue.
At the sons of Dhritarashtra, especially the eldest Duryodhana, hated and envied the Pandavas. And the blind and weak minded Dhritarashtra wanted his own sons, not those of Pandu, to inherit the kingdom.
Okay. So till
Thus,
now, whatever Mataji has read, this itself is a big family chart. It is in short. Prabhupada has given only about Dhritarashtra and Pandu, Dhritarashtra's sons and Pandu's sons. But who are these Dhritarashtra and who is Pandu and where they are coming from, and how these children of Dhritarashtra and Pandu they are related to each other. Who is elder? Who is younger? All this we will see from one chart. Okay, can you see this chart?
yes, Mataji.
What is on the top? Can you see Ganga?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. So this starts, Prabhupada says, from Bharat Maharaj, right? That is there even before. But from the Bharat Maharaj's line, the Shantanu, one king, comes. Okay. From here only mainly the Mahabharata starts. So, based on the name Bharata only is today's name Bharata for India. And if it has been some kind of story, who will, if it is not actual history but some story, who will keep a, a nation's name based on some story? Obviously, there were kings, there were people who had these names before, and that's why this is an actual history and which has happened long ago. That's why these still now we see those names here and there. And Bharata is a name that is given to this particular country now called as Bharat. And from that Bharata king, slowly in his generations comes this king named Shantanu. So now, one by one. So because we have started from Dhritarashtra and Pandu, no, we have before that also there is some story. We have, if you know that story, we will be little more clear about why these Dhritarashtra and Pandu are here, and why this their sons and all who are elder, who are younger, who are supposed to get the kingdom and who did not get, why this fight happened. This will be more clear. So Shantanu, he had married Ganga, and their son is Bhishma. Okay, they had many sons, but all that is a different story. But the one son who survived is Bhishma. And later on, Ganga returned to her heavenly abode, and after Bhishma's birth, and Bhishma was trained Ganga took Bhishma to many qualified teachers in the other planets, and they trained him. Okay, so then she again gave him back to Shantanu. After he was grown up and trained nicely, gave him back and she left. Okay, that is Bhishma. Now, after Ganga left, Shantanu married someone called Satyavati. Okay, and the Satyavati, before her marriage, she had a boon, she had a blessing of Parashara, and because of that blessing, she gave birth to Vyasa. But she also had a boon that even she gave birth to a child, she will be a virgin only. So again, that then she married this king, Shantanu, and they had two children. One is Chitrangada, and the other is Vichitravirya. Okay, and Bhishma never married; he is a brahmachari. Okay, why he did not marry and all is a different story. And then Chitrangada, he did not survive for a long time. Then Vichitravirya is the only king now. He married two sisters, Ambika and Ambalika. Okay, but they could not get any child from Vichitravirya. Then Satyavati said, "Okay, you people have one more brother also. Before my marriage, I had given birth to one Vyasa. He's still there. And after marriage, I gave birth to you both. But you do not know about that brother. I can call that brother. And in those days, it was allowed that when the brother was not able to give child, they would take help of the other any brother who is very much competent in producing good progeny without having any lusty desires towards the other brothers' wives. So Vyasa was requested, and by the help of Vyasa, Ambalika gave birth to Pandu, and Ambika gave birth to Dhritarashtra. Okay, and because Vyasa he did not come in a very uh, attractive manner. So as he was also avoiding that these two will not get attracted to him in a lusty way, but just to have a good progeny, they should give good kings to the society. That is why this was done as a service. So Vyasa was sometimes it is said that he was looking very fierce and scary. So Ambalika got scared of looking at him, and she was pale. She was very pale when she looked at Vyasa because of her fear. And so the son who was born as Pandu, he was also little pale and also considered little weak. And Ambika, what she did, she saw Vyasa and she closed her eyes. She did not want to look at him only. And that's why one blind child was born, who is Dhritarashtra. Now this Dhritarashtra got married to Gandhari and Pandu married to Kunti. Okay. Now Kunti, before her marriage by the uh, blessings of Surya, she had given birth to Karna. Here is Karna. And after her marriage, Pandu was having a curse that he should not get united with his queens. So Kunti and Madri were his queens. But Kunti said, okay, I have a boon, but I can call any of the demigods, and with their blessings, I can conceive and give kings to the society. So this was considered a very big responsibility of the kings to give good kings to the society for future generations. So Kunti, with the help of Yamaraja, she called upon and she received Yudhishthira. With the help of Vayu, she received Bhishma. With the help of Indra, she received Arjuna. Okay. Now, when Madri she saw that Kunti is having three children, she also requested her that if she also can get children. So Kunti requested Ashwini Kumaras to bless Madri, and Madri got Nakula and Sahadev. These are the twins, Nakula and Sahadev. So these five together are called Pandavas. They're considered as the children of Pandu only. So that's why Pandavas. Okay. And all these are called as Kurus, whether they are sons of Dhritarashtra or sons of Pandu. All these are actually speaking Kauravas only. They're all descendants of Kuru only. But for a distinction, we always say Pandavas are Pandu's children and Kauravas are Dhritarashtra's children. It's good. But they all are coming from Kuru. Kuru is somewhere above Shantanu in that family chart. From Bharat Maharaj, the chat is coming, no, that one. There, Kuru is also there. So all these are actually Kauravas only, whoever we are seeing on the chart. But for distinction, somehow, Dhritarashtra also, he made sure that only his sons will be called as Kauravas and the others will be called as Pandavas. They're Pandu's children. And my children are the ones who are actual Kauravas. They are coming from Kuru. That is how this is a political way of making the mindset of into everyone's mind that these are the actual Kauravas coming from Kuru. Now, this Pandu is the eldest compared to Dhritarashtra. And among all these Kauravas, we see here Yudhishthira is the eldest. And in the from the sons of Dhritarashtra, Duryodhana is the eldest. Okay? And then here there is a king, Yadava king called as Shurasena. Shurasena, that is one of the childs of Shurasena is Kunti, and the other child is Vasudeva. Vasudeva, he had many children, and Krishna and Subhadra are two of them. Krishna is the Supreme Lord himself, and Subhadra, she married Arjuna, and that way Abhimanyu was born, and Abhimanyu, he had another child named Parikshit, right? You know that. Abhimanyu was killed, but his wife was that time pregnant, and Parikshit was born. And Parikshit continued the Kuru king's legacy in Kali Yuga. From that was the beginning of Kali Yuga. Okay. So that way, if we see, Krishna and Arjuna are related in two ways. One way is because Krishna's sister was married by Arjuna, so they are brother-in-laws, and also because Krishna's father's sister's son was Arjuna. Okay, that way they are cousins. Hmm? So this is a relation between Krishna and Arjuna. Okay, and we have the preface running, so we'll go back to that and read. Hmm. Okay, what then he says that Pandu died at a very early age, and his five children, the Pandavas, they came under the care of Dhritarashtra. Because Dhritarashtra, when Pandu is not there, so Dhritarashtra was given the kingdom. Because although Pandu is elder, he died. So next brother was Dhritarashtra. So he was given the kingdom. So whoever was the king, he was supposed to take care of his brother's children. So they all came under the care of Dhritarashtra. And in the Dhritarashtra's household, his own sons were also there. So Pandu sons and Dhritarashtra's sons, they all grew up in the same royal household. And both were trained in the military arts. They were both trained by Drona, and also they were counseled by the revered grandfather of the clan Bhishma. You know who is Bhishma, right? Son of Shantanu and Ganga. He was a senior most in that chart, the grandfather. So he was also training these two king's children, Dhritarashtra's children and Pandu's children. Pandu is elder, but because he's not there, so Dhritarashtra is given the kingdom. And in that household, now among all the children, who is eldest? Dhritarashtra's son is not eldest. Pandu's son, Yudhishthira, is the eldest. So Dhritarashtra knew that I am getting this kingdom only because Pandu died. So once Pandu's children will be bigger, when they grow elderly, then their children should be getting they will take over the kingdom. And also among all the children, the Dhritarashtra children are not the ones who are elder. Pandu's children, the Yudhishthira is the eldest one. So he was very much clear that who is going to get kingdom later. Everyone knew it will be Yudhishthira. So everyone envied the Pandavas, and especially Duryodhana, he hated Pandavas. And the problem with Dhritarashtra was that he was blind and also weak minded. And he wanted his sons, not those of Pandu, to inherit the kingdom. So there was a plot always, there were many plots to kill the Pandavas, the young sons of Pandu. And who was protecting this all? Carefully, it was protected by Vidura and Lord Krishna. Hmm. So we will go to the chart again and we'll see where is Vidura. Is there anyone Vidura here? No. But Vidura is again a son of Vyasa only. So when I told you that Ambalika, she became pale when she saw Vyasa and she begot Pandu. And Ambika, she closed her eyes and she begot the Dhritarashtra. So Satyavati was not happy with this result. She said, "My grandsons are not very strong kings. No, we want some strong king." So what she said, she asked Vyasa to once more come and try. This time I will tell my daughter-in-laws, don't get afraid, don't be so pale and all. Don't close your eyes. I will counsel them. You please come once again. So Vyasa came once again, and these two queens, Ambalika and Ambika, they were not ready to face Vyasa in any way. Just once they somehow faced and they begot Pandu and Dhritarashtra, but this time they do not want to face him. So secretly what they did, they sent one maid servant, a lady maid servant to Vyasa. And because she was a maid servant, she saw that this is a Vyasdev, this is Parashar's son, and he is actually, who is he? He is a Satyavesh avatar of the Lord himself. It's an avatara, and that is given special Shakti to write and compose all the Shastras. Not write but compose, that is writing work of all the Vedas. He was given that potency, and that is Avatara. So this maid servant, she could recognize that this is not an ordinary person. I have to serve him nicely. And she served him, and because of that result of that serving, she begot Vidura. So Vidura is considered as the son of maid servant, and they never considered him as a royal uh, family member. But that is why this chart doesn't show Vidura. But Vidura always, he counseled this family as a minister. He rendered great service to this family all through his life. and he always protected Pandavas. Whenever there was an attempt by the Kauravas to kill the Pandavas, Vidura always helped. And also, along with Vidura, who was helping, the Supreme Lord himself, who is a cousin. Now, because Krishna is the son of Vasudeva, who is a brother of Kunti, his cousin. So he was also Uncle Vidura and cousin Lord Krishna was protecting their lives. Okay, now continue, Mataji.
Yes. Thus Duryodhana, with Dhritarashtra's consent, plotted to kill the young sons of Pandu, and it was only by the careful protection of their uncle Vidura and their cousin Lord Krishna that the Pandavas escaped the many attempts against their lives. Now, Lord Krishna was not an ordinary man, but the supreme Godhead himself, who had descended to earth and was playing the role of a prince in a contemporary dynasty. In this role, he was also the nephew of Pandu's wife Kunti or Partha,
Pritha.
the mother of the what Mataji?
Pritha. Pritha.
Pratha, okay, Pratha,
Kunti
the
is also
mother of
known as Pritha.
Pandava.
Yeah.
Mm. So, both as a relative and as the eternal upholder of religion, Krishna favored the righteous sons of Pandu and protect them.
Yeah.
Should I
So,
read Mataji?
just one second, Mataji. So, we see that Krishna was playing the role of an ordinary man, and whenever he plays any role, whenever he comes and plays a role, he perfectly plays the role. No one can even say or understand that maybe some people may even doubt that maybe this is an ordinary man. That kind of role he plays. Right now, he's playing the role of a prince. So when he was playing the role of a prince and he was playing the role of nephew of Kunti or Pritha, who is the mother of Pandavas. So he's playing the role of a relative to someone, and also he has to, whenever he dissents, why he dissents, he upholds the religion, right? So both ways, as an upholder of religion and as a relative, Krishna favored Pandu's sons because they are relatives first of all, okay, and also they are the righteous sons. So right people should get the kingdom. That is what is the work of an upholder of religion. So Krishna was upholding religion and he wanted right people to get the kingdom. Not only just because they are his relatives, but because they were also right. Okay? So that's why he was helping. Now, continue, Mataji.
Ultimately, however, the clever Duryodhana challenged the Pandavas to a gambling match. In the course of that fateful tournament, Duryodhana and his brothers took possession of Draupadi, the, ch- the chaste
Yes.
and devoted wife of Pandavas, and insultingly tried to strip
Tried.
her
They
tired to
they
strip her
tried.
neck,
He just
insulting
insultingly tried.
tried to strip her naked before the entire assembly of princes and kings. Krishna's divine intervention saved her, but the gambling, which was rigged, cheated the Pandavas of their kingdom and forced them into 13 years of exile.
Yeah. So
Upon
repeatedly they
returning from
okay, Mataji, I will just give a small brief about
okay,
the so repeatedly they were trying to kill the Pandavas, but somehow they were saved. So cleverly, they challenged them to a gambling match. So in those days, the Kshatriyas, whenever they are challenged for a fight or for a gambling match, that is their duty to agree to it and play the match or fight. They can never say that, no, I don't want to fight, I don't want to gamble, I don't want to. This is also considered as like fight only, this kind of games. So they have to say yes and they have to play. And in that, it was a very fateful tournament. That is, it is a very bad time for the Pandavas, and they were cheated, and they took possession of Draupadi in a very insulting manner. They tried to strip her in front of full assembly of all the princes and kings. And this time also, again, who saved them? Who saved Draupadi? Actually, Draupadi was looking for help from everyone. She started to look towards Bhishma, Drona, all the elders who were present. And then she looked for help to her husbands, all the five Pandavas, among whom Bhima is so strongest. And Bhima wanted to help, but Yudhishthira stopped him because of the rules of the match. So they had already given Draupadi, and they cannot now. It is like giving away their wealth. Now they cannot do anything. Whatever the Kauravas do with their wealth, they could not say that this is ours anymore. So they had given away Draupadi. So they were just quiet, and they were all hanging their heads down. Whomever Draupadi was looking, they were all hanging their heads down. So Draupadi basically she depended on so many of her relatives, her family, husbands, not ordinary husbands. There are powerful husbands, not one but five. No one could help, and then she depended on her own strength, her own strength. Like she was using her own strength, physical strength, to stop Dushasana, who was trying to strip her naked, but she could not, because Dushasana is blessed with 10,000 elephants of strength. What is Draupadi's strength in front of that? And finally, also then she, when the hands could not do anything, she tried to hold the cloth in between her teeth, but that also cannot help. And finally, she raised her hands and said, Dwarkadish Govinda. Then Krishna came. And it is said that actually Krishna was there waiting. When will she call for his help? When will she take his shelter, and he will immediately come? But she was not taking his shelter. He was taking shelter of so many so-called relatives and elderly members and husband and her own strength. But she was not taking shelter of Krishna. So this is one big lesson, that Krishna actually waits and sees who will take his shelter, and he is ready to give his shelter. And later on, actually, Draupadi asked, uh, but you came little late. I felt you came little late. I called you, but immediately you did not come. Just 1 second, or some little time was still you were late. Why? So Krishna said, what Krishna said? I was there waiting in that assembly only, that you will call, and I will come in the Vastravatar for you. Hmm? I'll take the Vastravatar and come for you. But what you did, you said Dwarkadish. You thought I am in Dwarka. I have to come from Dwarka. So that's why you said Dwarkadish. So to fulfill your word that I have to come from Dwarka, what I had to do in that 1 second, I had to go back to Dwarka and come back to you. So this is also very very important lesson about what names. Krishna is very particular about what names and what mood we have while calling him. Hmm? So he wants full surrender, full attention, and complete shelter we have to take. And in what mood we will take, in that mood only he will come. Okay, this is one lesson. I just wanted to uh, tell how Krishna is so affectionate towards his devotees, whoever calls him. Then we'll move towards the next paragraph. Yeah. Upon returning,
Upon returning, yes, upon returning from exile, the Pandavas rightfully requested their kingdom from Duryodhana, who bluntly refused to yield it. Duty bound as prince to serve in public administration, the five Pandavas reduced their request to a mere 5 villages. But Duryodhana arrogantly replied that he wouldn't spare them enough land into which to drive a pin.
So they came back.
Throughout all,
They came
okay,
back
ma'am.
from the exile. So after that gambling match, they said, okay, now you don't have kingdom, and as per the bet, as per the challenge, you have to go to forest for 13 years. Okay, so then after the exile, they again came back and said, now give us our kingdom now. So when we were small kids, children, we cannot rule, but now we are big. And when we were big, we were cheated. And now we are coming back. Now you give the kingdom. And they were asking for kingdom for what is the reason Prabhupada is saying? Duty bound as princesses to serve in public administration. Okay. So this is the Kshatriyas. They are supposed to do this. This is their duty. They have to do public administration. And for that they need public, they need place, they need kingdom. So they said we are not greedy to have any kingdom. We're not asking that full kingdom you give it to us and we will enjoy the kingdom as kings. What we are asking is we have a duty as a kshatriya born in this family. We cannot do anything else. We don't have skills for any other jobs. We know only one job, that is public administration. And that needs public, that needs people, that needs villages. At least give us five villages. Five Pandavas, five villages. Each will Pandava will at least rule one village